the spirit of transparency, today's speech, it might be a little uncomfortable for you. And I have my own truth, and I recognize you all have your own truth. You know, some of the things I talk about may be uncomfortable. And, you know, don't be resistant to it. You have to be here and have an open mind. So, I need you guys to know that I was a little resistant to coming here and giving this speech because I didn't want to be labeled as an angry deaf person. I realize I'm going to respect your viewpoints and your opinions. And there are many things that we all value and cherish. Alright, so my 2-year-old son, he broke his leg. And you know, it's fine, he's fine. But we went to the orthopedist doctor to have a checkup. And my town is really small. There's around 300 deaf people probably. And there's probably 23,000 people in the entire town. There's also a deaf school. And so most people know how to work with an interpreter. And so we're sitting in this office for about 45 minutes. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is 45 minutes long for such a small town. And my kids were getting restless. And it's usually just an in and out type of thing, you know. So I went up to the receptionist and I was like, why is this taking so long? She look at me, nothing. She just kept working on her computer. She said, sorry, doctor's backed up, sorry. I was like, well, yeah, you know, my kids are, they're kind of getting a little restless over there. I mean, could you maybe, like, talk to the doctor or the nurse or something? And she just kept looking at her computer. Nope, I'm sorry. Realized this is a small town, so I said, could you look at me? And she looked at the interpreter. I said, no, look at me, please. So she did. I said, could you possibly offer a solution to this? You know, my child who's in a full body cast needs medicine, and it's back at home. And my other child is getting pretty restless. And she said, no. But then at that moment, my son started crying, and then she really realized how desperate the situation was, so she went and grabbed the nurse. And the nurse came out. The nurse was very apologetic. She kept saying sorry. And, you know, I was like, is there any way that I can make a complaint about the receptionist? She didn't treat me very well. And the nurse said, yes, of course. And so we went and sat down, and then the receptionist called my interpreter over and said that there was a phone call for the interpreter. So the interpreter picks it up, and she motioned me to come over. I was like, why? I have a phone call? But it was the office manager calling to hear about my complaint. But the receptionist was sitting right there. So the manager was asking me questions, and the receptionist was sitting there staring me down, and I said, you know, I'm really not comfortable talking about this when she's sitting right there. And the office manager said, that's fine, I will contact you later and talk about this then. So I went back to my seat again. And I looked over, and I saw that my interpreter was still standing over there with the receptionist, and I thought that was kind of strange. So my interpreter came back and sat next to me, and I said, what did you say to her? What were you guys whispering about? I saw you guys whispering. She's like, oh, no, nothing. I was like, no, I saw you say something to her. She said, all right. Well, you know, she said she felt really bad. She didn't mean to be rude, and so, you know, I told her, oh, it's fine. And then I said, no, that's not okay. You can't talk for me. And the interpreter was like, oh. And I said, why did you say that for me? Why didn't you just call me over? And, after that I was fine. The nurse came and got us who went in. It was a quick checkup. It was all good. And I will use that interpreter again, absolutely. But, that really got me to think about disempowerment. And disempowerment means to remove power from someone. It's a pretty powerful word, It means to literally take power away from someone. Interpreters have to deal with a lot of things. And there's a lot of uncomfortable situations they have to deal with. They deal with culture and personalities. So, I came from a family that has 600 years of deaf experience. I have 4 deaf children, and I am also a deaf interpreter. I guess, I'm someone who is the center of the community, and, so I've grown up pretty different. But I think, honestly, that even though the deaf world and the hearing world are pretty different, they're also very similar. And there are different types of disempowerment. I believe there are 2. There's economical, and there's also financial. The 2 are connected, honestly. I have an example of situational disempowerment. So I went to a public high school. There were probably around 80 deaf students who went there, and there were 8 interpreters. None of them were certified, of course. And I wanted to take a theater class, and there were 3 other deaf students in the theater class with me. And there were probably around 17 hearing students. And the interpreter that I used, she was there every day. That class was in the middle of the afternoon too. And the interpreter that I used, she would say, oh man, you are signing way too fast. If she didn't understand what I was saying, she would voice gibberish and bring a lot of attention to myself. And I would notice that the class is laughing. And, for me, that was embarrassing. I was a teenage girl, I was still trying to figure stuff out. So the way that interpreter disempowered me was that she had a lack of skill, and instead of making it on herself, she disempowered me and made it look like I didn't know what I was doing. And so, to this day, I've never had a deaf person tell me that I was signing too fast. Never. But, anytime someone tells me that I'm signing too fast, I kind of go back and feel like I'm that 13-year-old girl in that theater class and super embarrassed.